We all have played the popular open-world games full of side content, but have you ever played the games that will literally make you cry cause of their difficulty level? You will be seeing death screen after death screen till you get better in the game. In this video, I have mentioned the 11 hardcore difficulty games that will give you an immersive, frustrative experience. I have also added some bonus games towards the end. Also, most of these games have sequels, so you will be seeing over 20 games in this video. Without further ado, click that subscribe button and also join my Discord for more gaming recommendations. Now, let's look at the first game on our list. Number 11, Nioh series. We are starting out this list with one of my favorite Souls-like game. Nioh is a game that I still believe can be called an underrated game, because I don't usually see Nioh getting a mention in YouTube videos. The game is really good and packed with highly difficult areas, along with some cool boss designs. This is a game that is on the level of Dark Souls, but the areas are easy to navigate. The major problem I faced while playing Dark Souls for the first time was not knowing where to go. Truthfully, Nioh is a series that is a must-play for every player who is into the Souls-like genre. The game contains Japanese elements such as shrines, area designs, castles, scenery, and much more. Low-key, you can say it's like Sekiro but less difficult. The series has two parts. You should start with the first part, as it will introduce you to the game's mechanics and will make your overall experience easier in the second installment. Honestly, the original is much easier than the sequel. Nioh 2 has an insane difficulty level and different playstyles. What I noticed is that the areas are densely packed with enemies in the sequel. I remember dying a few times in the initial hours. Nevertheless, both games are awesome and will provide you guys with an engaging hardcore difficulty experience. Nioh is a series that players have been sleeping on for a long time. If I go off topic for a few seconds, then I tell you that this is a game that I have so many great memories. I just loved playing another Souls-like game with a touch of Japanese features. The monsters are pretty great, and the area designs are perfect. Also, the storyline is well made as it keeps the players engaged. So, if you have played almost every Souls-like game, then this will be a great time to try out Nioh series. Both games are available on all platforms. Number 10, Ghostrunner. This is a game that looks highly appealing when you first see the gameplay. The idea of playing the game in first person and slashing enemies is purely satisfying. I personally loved seeing the blood and slashing different parts of enemies. Ghostrunner showcases fast-paced hack-and-slash gameplay that keeps the players hooked to their seats. I am recommending both parts as the second one improves upon the original in so many ways. The storyline is not something to look forward to, as games like these are only about some fast-paced action combat. You only need to feel the thrill of just running around slicing your way through enemies. I think at this point more and more players are getting to know about this game, which is a great thing, all thanks to the sequel. If we talk about an honest review, then I will say that almost half of you will quit the game after the first hour. It is quite difficult to complete each level. Somehow the enemy AI is designed in a way that accurately pinpoints your location and seems to kill you within seconds. However, once you get used to dying several times, that's when the game starts to become highly interesting, assuming you also have the patience to make peace with dying and frustration. If we take out the bosses from Souls-like games, then Ghostrunner comes on top in terms of difficulty level. Ghostrunner is a series that is tailor-made for genre-specific fans. If you know about mechanics and if the gameplay suits your style, then you will surely appreciate this game. The sequel is also worth mentioning, as if you complete the original, it will act as a cherry on top, providing more slicing and free running. The game is available on multiple platforms, including PC.
Do the honors. It's,
Bike.
wow, not what I...
Number 9, Metal Gear Rising. One of Konami's best masterpieces. I see no reason why they didn't make a sequel. From beginning to end, Metal Gear Rising is all about hack and slash action combat. The soundtracks are icing on the cake. Slashing through enemies and destroying machines while listening to a cool soundtrack is an incredible feeling. I've mentioned in previous videos that the game is an unappreciated gem and many gamers are missing out on it. Metal Gear Rising will provide you with an incredible amount of excitement. You play as Raiden, a robotic ninja, and your primary goal is to reach the ultimate boss while cutting through waves of enemies. Now, as simple as it sounds, believe me, it's much tougher. Metal Gear Rising has a reasonable amount of difficulty, which creates a sense of competitiveness because every time you die, you will feel the desire to improve and restart. Also, the last boss is quite difficult to take down. The guy has a large health bar in several phases. Surely, it will take you some time to defeat him. I recommend that if you want an all-out thrilling experience with satisfying soundtracks and music, as well as a decent degree of action-packed fighting, look no further than Metal Gear Rising. The visuals also deserve attention, as the game frequently shows cinematic moments in which you slice through enemy hordes. Metal Gear Rising combines all of the essential features perfectly, providing players with an amazing experience. I just wish that soon we get an announcement regarding the sequel. Even though Rising is not what the Metal Gear series is known for, this standalone edition still provided one of finest fast-paced gaming experiences, and the sales were also pretty decent. Truly an underrated game that should be played by every hack-and-slash lover. The soundtracks and music take the game to the next level. Number 8. Bloodborne. Only the OG ones will appreciate this game. In fact, I know that most of us haven't even played this game due to its unavailability on PC. I don't know when it's going to happen because at this point it's just insane. We have already gotten so many PS exclusives on PC. How much time will it take before we get a PC port of the game? Also, it's 2024. I believe we should also get a sequel as it's been almost a decade. There is no reason for the developers not to make a sequel as the game is insanely popular. The sales will surely go off the roof. Bloodborne is a game that has its own fan base among the entire From Software games. The story and gameplay are the two finest things about this game. Everyone appreciates the storyline and how good it is. From all the other Souls-like games, Bloodborne is very different as it features a lot of gruesome and dark content. If you get easily stressed or scared, then this is not the game for you. However, if you enjoy dark atmospheric horror, immersive worlds, exploration, and extensive combat gameplay, then Bloodborne is an excellent game to play. Now, just for a moment, if we put aside all the other Souls-like games, the Bloodborne is an awesome standalone choice to dive into. The artistry in this game is breathtaking. You can spend your time simply exploring the map and getting stunned by the visuals. Also, it's a good feature that new players can just level up and get stronger, or if you want some thrill and excitement, then you can learn enemy attack patterns and just keep on progressing further without worrying about your stats. Overall, Bloodborne is a worthwhile experience and a must-play game for everyone, especially for those who owns a PlayStation. Number 7. Lies of P. No matter what anyone says, I will always recommend starting your journey with Lies of P if you plan on getting into Souls-like genre. This game is an all-out masterpiece. Usually, Souls-like games are not known for their storylines, but this changes in Lies of P. The game's story is quite engaging and emotional. The game got my respect towards the ending. I was mesmerized after seeing how well written each character is and how they all hold an importance in the game rather than just being a normal NPC. Everyone needs to play Lies of P as it defines the Souls-like genre in a new, distinct way. Honestly, if I had played this game before Dark Souls, then it would have been my best Souls-like game ever. Lies of P is not just about difficult bosses, but it's rather an immersive experience that will take you through several different environments, each containing a specific type of enemies along with some medium bosses. Now, I believe that the bosses in this game are quite easy compared to other Souls-like games. However, this could be because I have completed all other games. So, for all the newcomers, Lies of P will prove to be quite difficult to give you guys a proper understanding of what it means to play Souls-like games. Every NPC has their own backstory related to their issues and motivations. For me, the nicest aspect of Lies of P is its storyline. To summarize, you play as a puppet, and each lie you make in the game fills your heart with human feelings, eventually transforming you into a human capable of emotions and feelings. It's an incredibly wonderful story. You can choose to speak the truth in all scenarios, but the game drives you to make the appropriate decisions, which most of the time indicate that you should go with the truth option. Lies of P is also available on all platforms. Number 6. Dark Souls series. The GOAT of Souls-like games, Dark Souls series is the pinnacle of difficulty for every new player. I remember quitting the game after a few hours because every area felt highly difficult and I kept getting lost. Truthfully, there comes a time in every third-person gamer where he plays Dark Souls and just exits because of the difficulty level. But it's what comes after that matters. Eventually, after a few months or years, you will pick up the game, and this time you get through every area and will kill every boss. From that point on, your journey starts as a hardcore From Software fan. I always say that Dark Souls is not just a game, it's a full-on immersive masterpiece. Now, let me tell you how you can start the game properly and which game you should play first. So, no matter what anyone says, your first pick should always be Dark Souls Remastered. It's gonna be a heck of a lot harder, but it's the best choice to feel the thrill and learn the mechanics. After you're done completing the first part, then the choice is yours. You can either play the second or the third part. I will still recommend playing it in the original order. Now, there are already a lot of videos on YouTube that will make your experience easier. Despite all that, the golden tips are running through your enemies, keeping track of all the items and your stamina. Also, most of the areas in the game are sort of optional, so you don't need to complete each area in the game, but I suggest that you should. Low-key, it's just the first few hours that feels difficult. Once you get past that, everything starts to make sense. In the end, whatever you do, just make sure to have a full-on awesome experience, as it's a one-time feeling. There are no other games capable of providing the same level of Dark Souls satisfaction. Number 5. Ninja Gaiden. I really am not sure which game to consider as the most difficult one. Almost all the Ninja Gaiden games provides a standard level of difficulty. Now, I absolutely recommend playing this series in the chronological order for a more enhanced playthrough. Despite all the greatness that the series has, my most favorite will be that it's a ninja-style game. I am just so grateful that the developers made such a game in a ninja style. Fans like me who prefers ninja-themed games will definitely love this game. Sure, the graphics are outdated, but they will still provide a good enough experience. Also, the newest game in the series has standard graphics and visuals with a touch of improved gameplay mechanics. So, even if you don't like the older games, you still have an option to start playing the recent part. Honestly, this is also a series that deserves a new installment because it's been many years since the third part came out. It's gonna be awesome to see the new modern-gen Ninja Gaiden game with improved textures and visuals. I don't know what Team Ninja and Tecmo is thinking. They're making games like Rise of the Ronin, which to be honest is a stunning game, but they ruined it in so many ways. I was expecting it to be at the level of Ghost of Tsushima. So, isn't it the right time to make a sequel of Ninja Gaiden, or in fact Neo as well? Let's just hope that within that next 3 years we at least get some announcements or release dates. Nevertheless, Ninja Gaiden will serve as a wonderful experience full of sci-fi, RPG, monsters, and much more. So, there's no reason to sleep on it. Get your copy and start playing the game. You can start with the most recent graphically well-made installment. Ninja Gaiden is available on PS4, PC, and Xbox. Number 4. Devil May Cry series. Everyone knows Dante, right? Devil May Cry is a fan-favorite gaming series because of its fast-paced hack-and-slash combat, and obviously Dante along with amazing cutscenes and storyline. I am including every single game in this list. However, I at least recommend playing the 3rd, 4th, and the 5th installment. In fact, the final part is a must-play for everyone and will also act as a prime choice for every newcomer. There is definitely a chronological order. However, you can choose to play only the 5th part as it is highly improved with awesome cutscenes and graphics. At this point, in 2024, I don't think anyone will decide to play the entire series from the first part. So, the recent 3 installments will provide enough content to make you understand what the Devil May Cry series is all about. My personal favorite is the 3rd and 5th installments.
I have been chosen to take the next step in evolution, to become something far more than just human.
Some may call the third one a masterpiece, but I honestly had more fun in the fifth because it has more advanced textures and the cutscenes are mind-blowing. Also, we can't forget about the final fight between Dante and Virgil, which was a feast for the eyes. Even though I would love to see a new sequel. In my opinion, just like Uncharted series, the final installment in the Devil May Cry series acted as a perfect ending and a tribute. So, if we get a new sequel, then the series will become just like other repetitive games where studios are just squeezing money out of pockets. Nevertheless, the difficulty level of DMC is worth mention as the enemies are quite strong. The game puts you in several situations where you must face tons of enemies at once, like literal hordes of creatures. Most of the parts are available on PC and PlayStation. Number 3. Sifu. This is a game that's gonna test your gaming skills. Sifu is all about clearing different stages and killing your enemies in a variety of awesome-looking martial arts movesets. It can take anything from 2 to 12 hours, depending on how quickly you grasp the game's concepts. Sifu is one of the best driven by action martial arts games of all time. I recall how much enjoyment I had as I progressed through each level. There are several positive aspects to this game, such as the fact that it offers diverse levels with various environments, each with a new final boss. Sifu takes the cake in terms of difficulty, providing players with the ideal combination of action, martial arts, and challenge to encourage a sense of competition. You may also discover shortcuts to save time and quickly reach the final boss. The good news is that even if you pass any stage, you'll quickly understand that you need to repeat it without dying. The game never lets you grow bored and promotes a competitive desire to improve and beat the game. Along with all of the pros and cons, the death mechanic is the most noteworthy. In Sifu, each death causes you to age. Now, as you grow older, you get more attack strength but also die quicker. You will always find yourself in trouble after passing every stage, since you must avoid dying and keep your age under control, as there are 5 stages in all. Each level introduces fresh environments and various types of enemies. From the first to the last mission, your only goal is to defeat all enemies and make your way to the final boss. Number 2. Elden Ring. To be honest, as an experience from software player, I believe that players are over-exaggerating the difficulty level of Elden Ring, especially the newcomers. Honestly, the game released in 2022. At that time, a lot of creators or YouTubers played the game for the first time. It was their experience playing any From Software game for the first time. That's the reason a lot of us somehow believe that it's much harder, but it's easier than other games, especially Sekiro. Though it all comes down to the players. I am sure a lot of you will consider Elden Ring as the hardest, but the game is slightly more difficult than medium. Now, let's see what the DLC has in store for us. Elden Ring is definitely the most beautiful From Software game I've ever played. I love the idea of just immersing in an open world and finding bosses scattered throughout the map. The game also gives you an option to quit the battle and try it again after becoming more experienced. I'm sure that I don't need to talk about the graphics, as they are already at their peak. As for the storyline, it's the finest, although some players might say that the game doesn't have a story and it's only lore. Tell me about your favorite bosses from Elden Ring. I would love to get to know about your experiences. So, comment down and share your favorite moments from the game. In the end, I will highly recommend playing this game, as it's a new step in the Souls-like genre. The idea of an open world will forever be cherished, as it provided us with a lot of awesome content. Also, don't dive into this game if it's your first time playing a From Software game. As I have said before, start your journey with Lies of P, as it's the best Souls-like game for every newcomer. And yeah, obviously, the game is available on all platforms.
Elden Ring is set here, in the lands between. This is a site of grace, acting as a place.
Before I reveal my number 1 pick, here are some honorable mentions. Darkest Dungeon, Unfair Mario, a difficult game about climbing, Flappy Bird. Getting over it. Number 1, Sekiro. This is my all-time favorite from Software game. To this day, I have never felt the same amount of satisfaction that I got from Sekiro. The game is the peak of difficulty level. I don't think there are any downsides to this game, from gameplay to storyline, graphics to visuals, and combat to enemies. Everything in Sekiro is at its best. I just love shinobi or ninja-style games, and the developers provided us with an amazing gem that will forever be cherished as the greatest. Some of my favorite highlights are the bosses, the environments, combat, and the storyline. This is a game that tests how good you can grasp the gameplay mechanics. There's going to be a lot of death if you don't get better. Also, the Japanese elements are the best. Area designs, shrines, objects, there's just a lot of Japanese stuff in the game that complements the overall shinobi-style gameplay. Despite all this, Sekiro isn't for everyone. You may find the game boring as there is no open world concept, and you will be surprised by the level of difficulty. I'm very sure it's not for people who have never played any From Software games before. The game is far more difficult than previous shinobi games, including Elden Ring. Bloodborne is the only game that comes close to Sekiro. Personally, I think the Dark Souls series has more bizarre level designs that make it easy to get lost in and have problems finding your way around. This isn't the case in Sekiro. The game displays you clear paths and directs you where to go, but it's the enemies and boss battles where the problem gets real. The game's final boss is among the most powerful video game bosses ever. In the end, I just want to say that Sekiro is the most beautiful game after Elden Ring, as the world seems much livelier. My favorite scenery was the one just before entering Fountainhead Palace. Alright, this finishes our list of 10 hardcore difficulty games that will make you cry. All these games have an insane level of difficulty and addictiveness. I know that most of the games in this list are from Software games. However, we all agree that these games always come on top whenever we mention difficult games. It's funny, but if you are someone who completed all these games, then you definitely deserve a reward, as it's such a big deal finishing all these games. Anyways, if you have made it this far, then please subscribe, as I am close to reaching 7,000 subscribers. So, click that subscribe button, and I will see you in the next video.